More and more, I'm coming to realize that most individuals just don't read the information that gets released by teams. They want to be spoon-fed the details that will help benefit them in the short term. The importance of the vision paper that Wilder World set out was to help simplify the very complex machine that is Wilder World and Zero. There are many moving parts, and for individuals that may be interested and come in, they get confused very quickly. So the team set out to do something very complicated, and that is to simplify everything that is happening within Wilder World and Zero to help people better understand the larger vision of what they're working on. I personally navigate my life through 4 principles: knowing who I am, knowing who I want to become, the things that matter most, and the decisions I need to make in order to get to who I want to become. So I'm going to take these efforts to simplify the efforts from the teams. So let's start with who Wilder World was at the beginning. It was a coder and a couple artists that had an idea that they could create something that was decentralized and more sovereign than what they saw in the marketplace at the time. And this vision paper explains who they want to become and all of the efforts that have already been made in order to get closer to that vision. And in order to understand what matters most to them, you just need to go to the Wilder World and Zero homepage to understand the principles that they govern themselves by. Things like creativity, high fidelity, sovereignty, and decentralization are just the tip of an iceberg. These are the guardrails that govern them as they're creating tech, code, and different types of creative assets that will be put into the larger world of Wilder World and Zero. And so ever since this became very clear to the teams, they have been able to navigate the actions and decisions that they make based within these different types of parameters. And because the team is building in the open world, there are a lot of individuals that have their own opinions and their own approach of how they believe is the right way that the team should be doing it. And sometimes there are conflicts between the two, but the team has stayed within these different type of principles and boundaries in order to realize this greater vision that they clearly outlined within the vision paper. The reality is that most people have a short-term mindset of extraction for their own personal benefit than the long-term mindset of value creation found with the realization of this vision that Wilder World has. So the reason why I believe there is a lack of peace among many of the members throughout all different types of teams and communities is because the focus is in the wrong area. The focus is on a short-term value extraction instead of a long-term value creation. All we have to do is look at companies like Apple and Netflix and Amazon in order to better understand long-term value creation. The value that we know that Apple has today didn't come until they created the iPod and iPhone. These products were able to open up new markets that were able to gain the value that they have today. And then if you move on to Amazon, they did not gain the value that they have today until they came out with Prime and 2-day shipping. And then Netflix didn't gain their value until they swapped from DVD mailers to streaming. And so you can imagine that if they were building in the open world, the short-term mindset that individuals would have had in believing that the direction they were going was false. But in reality, they had to have leadership that saw the bigger vision and worked towards that vision until the value came. So as we all know, the market will decide where the value is. So in the end, you really just have to ask yourself, do you believe there is value in creating a metaverse? Now, I understand that the metaverse isn't just one single project, but it will be a collective of multiple projects. But what we have to understand is Wilder World and Zero are building an infrastructure, code, and technology in order to make it possible for ideas and individuals and businesses and brands to be able to create within the larger metaverse. This is where the real value comes. It comes from Wilder World realizing and showing and demonstrating what can be done with the technology that Zero and its team is creating. These things don't happen in a short term. These things happen over years and decades. Things that last take time, and things that last have great value. My peace has always derived from my belief in the long-term mindset that the team has in creating the metaverse. I can remember a time when all I did was read a white paper and have a belief and conviction in what they wanted to do. And over the years, I've been able to see things like NFTs come out to the market. I've seen the token be able to evolve. I've seen protocols and procedures be able to be put in place. I've also seen structure formulated. I've seen the teams bring to pass different types of reward programs that have helped benefit the community and those individuals that have been supporting the team over the years. I've been able to see the team shift with the different ebbs and flows of the market. I've been able to see them manage their money well. I've been able to see them take accountability for mistakes mistakes made, as well as make the changes in order to plug up those different aspects that needed some reassuring. I've seen them help develop a racing game from something that was unplayable to something that now is going to have a new driving physics be able to be implemented, where people are going to be able to create their own maps, customize their own vehicles, and be able to enjoy the open world in a fast and enjoyable way. They've also taken a first iteration of Will's design and just blown it out of the water with the new designs. I've seen a team of misfits and artists be able to collectively put together code and creativity in order to realize a combat game mode and be able to play the Rebellion. And then I've been able to see coders and developers be able to design a land protocol that is completely decentralized and open to each one of us to be able to realize and build something within the metaverse that we have envisioned for ourselves. And this is just a tip of the iceberg, because I haven't even gone into Zchain and the layer 1 that they've been creating, as well as the partnerships that they've had with Polygon, with Celestia, as well as Samsung and Nvidia and Superverse and so many others. And so because many individuals have a smaller mindset and a short-term mindset, they can't really see where we came from and where we are today and where we will be going. So with all that said, let's get into the actual vision paper and the things that I found interesting. And I really want to start off with a description of what a metaverse is. The metaverse is a digital world where you can explore, create, and connect with others using visual reality, fully owning your unique identity and all assets that you gain. It is like stepping into a magical limitless video game where you control your persona and possessions without physical boundaries. So I created this simplified description of what the metaverse is based on a lot of the information that the team put into the vision paper and at other times of how they describe a metaverse. And now I want to read something that perfectly describes how Wilder World connects with the larger description of a metaverse. Wilder World is a player-owned, operated, and governed realm shaped by citizens united to mold this expansive frontier in their image. Citizenship is secured through a Zero ID, a sovereign identity minted on the ZNS protocol, ensuring decentralized governance. Once granted, your citizenship is irrevocable, upheld by unyielding rules and immutable code. Once onboarded, you create your avatar in the etheric horizon, a soul-bound digital form with traits and customizations that evolve over time. As you level up in in-game experiences and social impact, your identity, skills, and reputation grow with you. Everything you own, wear, build, or earn in Wilder World is truly yours, cryptographically secured and tradable across the global economy. So simply put, they're putting together things like social network, gaming, economies, marketplaces into one virtual experience where you have more control and more possession over the efforts and the assets that you gain throughout your experience within that digital world. I really enjoyed the vision paper from Wilder World. I really believe that it really did a great job of combining all of the complexities into one grand vision of what the team is trying to create and realize as they put in the different efforts to create code and technology and using the skills of different individuals. And there were about 6 things that I wanted to share with you today that I really felt like stood out for me personally. The first one was this statement, that Wilder World has a robust skill tree that evolves as you evolve, and will have new career paths added over time. Each path has a skill tree evolving with your playstyle. Players can blend disciplines to form hybrid characters: combat racers, stealth hackers, economic warriors. You can play as hero or villain, shaping the story in real time. This stood out to me because I knew about the racer, the defender, the hacker, and the miner, but it was really cool to see that with our ZXP that we're going to be able to have this skill tree. So we have an era to look forward to of the team balancing out each one of these different type of hybrids and skill trees in order to create something that's really enjoyable for individuals to be able to create something that fits their persona and player type. The second interesting point that I want to share is this statement: Wilder World is a digital republic forged by its citizens, a living metaverse shaped not by a single vision but by the collective will of all who inhabit it. Echoing the organic growth of a real city, it empowers you to build experiences, establish businesses, and in time, craft entire worlds that extend its boundaries frontier. As a creative and someone who really enjoys to be able to create in different forms, this was really inspiring to me because I really can see this vision of so many individuals bringing in their different skill sets, crafts, and being able to have an effect on the larger metaverse. I think this is going to be incredible because it's going to start out as this kind of different type of feel and vibe, and it's going to evolve over time, just like our own societies do when we talk about the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the early 2000s and where we are at today. The same thing will evolve within Wyoming and within Wilder World and the different worlds that will be created on Zero. The next item that I really enjoyed was this statement: in this ecosystem, industries operate independently but are linked by shared infrastructure and Wild. All transactions, regardless of currency, are converted to Wild, with 80% burned to reduce supply and 20% sent to the Dow Treasury for reinvestment. In a period of time where we're constantly talking about inflation, it is really nice to see that the economy is a deflationary economy and that they have processes and procedures set up to keep it deflationary throughout its own existence. I believe this will build trust and confidence within the economy and hopefully will bring people to be able to build their brands and companies and ideas within the economy of Wilder World. The fourth item I really liked had to do with the blueprints. They said that the blueprint system is player-owned recipes requiring specific refined resources to craft in-game assets. The part of that really stuck out is the player-owned, that we're going to be able to earn or find or gain these blueprints to give us the ability. So individuals that are really interested in using these blueprints in order to add to a marketplace and into an economy will desire these types of blueprints, especially if they're rare. And the team did an incredible job with the mine, refine, build, and sell aspect of the economy. The resources are a critical part of the entire economy found within Wilder World, and land is a critical part to resources. And so we can see the interconnected importance of everything we find within Wilder World. And so when you add blueprints into the mix, I really enjoy what blueprints will be in the buying and selling of the open market, as well as gaining them through different activities that we'll find within Wilder World, maybe questing, mining, racing, whatever it might be in the packs or however that will come to be. We'll be able to utilize these blueprints in order to build the things that we imagine. And along with that is the fifth item I found to be really interesting, which was all pack items are crafted from resources mined and refined in game. I found myself, as I was reading through the vision paper, I kept having a question in my head. Is the team going to stick to this resource structure where these packs that they talk about or the things that they implement within the world, are they going to be drawing from the same resource pool as the Wilders? Or are they going to inflate by them just being able to create, then putting it into the world, and then say individuals are able to break down those items for a small portion of the resources, then to reutilize that? That would cause inflation. But they're saying here that all pack items and everything that they bring into the game will come from the same resources mined and refined in game. And that is really important because no government and no entity can just bring resources out of thin air and be able to create the things that we have. We all either take it, recycle it, or we draw it from the earth and use those resources in order to build the things that we're crafting every single day. So I think this is a really key point to the benefits of packs and the resources that make a lot of sense, that a lot of people should be excited about, that no one is really even talking about. At least I haven't seen it. And then the sixth item that I really enjoyed was this comment about Zchain. Zchain is a layer 1 blockchain that is hyper-fast, low-cost, and sufficiently decentralized. It leverages the latest advances in zero-knowledge proofs to create a modern blockchain that does not sacrifice security or scalability for decentralization. I know a lot of people got caught on to the statement of sufficiently decentralized. Ultimately, in the end, I would just want to know, what is the sufficiently part pointing to? Because we may be reading into some tea leaves that aren't really there. There may be a specific reason that the team needs to come out with that they're not necessarily ready to be able to divulge because they're working out the different types of specifics that came around it. I'm not personally concerned. I'm at peace with this. I know other people are a lot more concerned and they're losing trust with the team. But for myself, I believe that I would just want to kind of understand the reasoning behind it so that I can formulate my own hypothesis if I believe that that would be the best reason, or if that goes against the things that matter most that we talked about at the beginning of this video. Does it go against that, or does it stay within the realm and is just an important aspect in order to create safety within the longevity of the project? Because one of the ideas I had was that possibly the reason why they said sufficiently decentralized is because in the beginning, what if it starts out more centralized, and as time goes on and as that decentralization comes into effect, there will be a greater amount of that decentralization in the rollout of the layer 1. But for myself, I'm really excited that Zchain went from a layer 2 to a layer 1. I think they probably saw the benefit of doing that through the creation of it, through talking with different types of teams like Polygon. So I'm definitely at peace until I gain a greater picture and a greater understanding of what Zchain is and why the team made the decisions they are in order to realize the greater metaverse. So at the end, I'm going to share a bonus item that I really enjoyed from the vision paper. And it was this part that says, Simulation OS organizes and combines the necessary infrastructure, components, modules, and protocols that will enable us to create the metaverse as we imagine it. Building within a digital space can be extremely complex, and I really appreciate the effort that the team is doing in order to show us the simulation OS that they are creating in order to realize the metaverse. I really appreciate the different creativity and the teams that are putting together the different protocols and procedures that are needed in order to combine the reality of us having a decentralized sovereign experience within Wilder World. It's important that we each are able to protect our own identities and be able to protect the ownership of the assets of the things that we gain. All of this is being made possible through, Zchain, through Wilder World, through the simulation OS, and the different types of code, technology, skill sets, and efforts made every single day from the team. And so I'm extremely excited for what the team has done. I'm at complete peace because my efforts and my kind of focus is on the long-term value creation and not in the short-term value extraction. Well, there you have it. Those are my opinions, my insights, and the things I found interesting from the vision paper. I hope you really enjoyed this. I hope you go and take the time to read. It's incredible to me the amount of individuals that don't even take the time to read it, but yet spend hours and hours being keyboard warriors complaining about the different aspects of it. I think the team is on an awesome path. I think they've made a lot of really good steps. They're not at the end. There's a lot of work to still be done, but they're at least on that path to realize it. And we have the receipts and we see them cooking in the kitchen. And I think we should just be excited for what's to come instead of complaining about every single little detail that we don't have a full understanding of. But that is not to take away from the incredible feedback, insights, and contribution that the community has had. None of my opinions are to take that away. My opinions are strictly my own. My opinions are strictly the stance of which I take and how I view things. And a lot of people may disagree with me, and a lot of people do disagree with me, and I'm fine with that. But I want to stand by my own beliefs, my own convictions, because it's what brings me peace and what I believe in as I support the team and create content and take of my own time and my efforts in order to market and to make other people aware of the things that Wilder World and Zero are doing. And I want to thank each one of you that take the time in order to even watch my content. I really appreciate you taking the time to formulate your own opinions based on my insights. And if you have any comments, if you disagree with me or you agree with me, or if there's something that really stood out to you that I never mentioned, please make sure to make it in the comments below. I would love to read them. I'd love to respond and engage with you. So please take the time and share whatever things that you really found valuable that was in here, or what you would change and what you don't agree with and what should be a difference moving forward. If you really enjoyed this content and you look forward to more coming down from Wilder World, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button. It really does help.